One of the main identifying features of mankind, which has always contributed to distinguish them from other living creatures, is language, but the first tale man told was about food. One of the most interesting aspects of nutrition is how globalization had an impact on Italian nutritional habits. Food is not only used for a nutritional purpose, it is part of a moment of sharing, which plays a fundamental role for our health. In order to explain this concept, I began with describing Italy's historical development, starting from the end of World War II. It is important to analyze the products that have been affected by food adulteration both in Italy and abroad. I have chosen this topic because nutrition is an intrinsic part of history, customs and traditions of a country, and also because this study is important to understand the country itself. To perceive all the shades of a language, we need to get to know the culture, and nutrition constitutes a relevant part of it. Studying in depth this aspect is important for the understanding of the culture and the mechanisms that contribute to the mutation of nutritional habits. While I do not consider globalization as an element of destruction of traditions, but I wanted to analyze, following personal experiences, one of the effects that stands out the most, that is the discussion about food adulteration. I have chosen to compare Italy with China because the latter is contributing more and more in the food adulteration of Italian products. According to a study conducted by the University of Naples Federico II, today China is subjected to those negative effects of globalization as well, caused for instance by multinationals such as McDonald's and KFC. I began with the analysis of the Mediterranean diet, which distinguishes Italian nutritional habits from others, finishing with the analysis of China, that has always isolated itself from international markets. But today it is a country that is being more and more subjected to the globalization effects. The scientist Ansel Keys was the first to use the term Mediterranean diet. The 7-country study, which he conducted between 1950 and 60, is the greatest study recognized on this type of diet. Several coronary diseases and cancers were observed. He studied in detail how such diseases affected the population of the USA, where the Mediterranean diet wasn't implemented. The study involved 12,763 men and women from different countries between the ages of 25 and 59. He demonstrated how the presence of fat is the major risk factor for cardiovascular diseases. As a consequence, following the Mediterranean diet is less risky for our health, protecting it from chronic degenerative diseases. Globalization had a negative impact on some products, and it changed some nutritional habits. In this field, we speak about food adulteration, and the most sophisticated products are extra virgin olive oil, Parmigiano Reggiano, but also meat and fish. A specific department of the Italian police are in charge of fighting and monitoring this phenomenon. From 2007 until 2013, food frauds increased by 170%. We are talking about frauds on a big scale because they contribute to 16-17% of the Italian GDP with a turnover of 130 billion euros. Organized criminality makes 14 billion euros per year. According to data, 30-40% of the products monitored, 30,000-40,000 are illegal. Majority of these frauds cause a high risk of damage for consumers' health. For instance, rotten meat can be treated with chemical agents such as sulfur dioxide, which changes its color and attracts consumers, as well as fish that is sprayed with a chemical spray named Cafadus looks fresh. In addition, olive oil is one of the most sophisticated products. In 2011, Italian police discovered an enterprise which used to produce a fake extra virgin olive oil, discovering a cookbook with the illegal olive blends that were used during the production. To a little quantity of extra virgin olive oil, a low-quality oil, the Urza was added. This enterprise imported olives from abroad, and during the process, they added a lamp oil to the pure one. Eventually, they used deodorized oil, adding a substance with the aim of obtaining better quality of oil by adding colorants to reach the typical yellow-green color of the extra virgin olive oil. It is important to underline nutritional habits of another country in order to understand the great impact of globalization. On the grounds of food adulteration, we analyze the countries such as China, with different laws and a different attention to the process of production. It is important to underline nutritional habits of another country in order to understand the great impacts of globalization. On the grounds of food adulteration, we analyze the countries such as China, with different laws and different attention to the process of production. According to a Chinese proverb, it is not important if it flies in the sky, if it swims in the water or walks on the ground, everything can be eaten. The Chinese nutritional ideology considers cooking as a science, and the right nutrition is the key of the existence. Cooking is studied deeply, and often offering a meal instead of another can have different meanings. Everything is based on the balance between yin and yang, where yin represents the land and yang represents the sky. The products of the land have yin properties, while those who grow from the land towards the sky, like vegetables, have more yang energy. Baking has those energies. Steaming has yin properties, frying and roasting have yang properties. A wrong nutrition is a breakup with the universal dualism of yin and yang. For instance, an excess of a bitter taste, as coffee, provokes an imbalance and it damages the heart. While drinking coffee, yang energy is freed by the heart, suffocating yin. Chinese solid traditions are changing by following the effects of globalization. In fact, in China, it is possible to purchase an increasing percentage of unhealthy products, and surely a proof of this phenomenon is the increase of the obesity rate. The aim of the thesis is to describe the effects caused by globalization and the opening of markets at the international level. These two trends not only have influenced Italian nutritional habits, they also changed those of other countries such as China.